Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. This is Mike, and this is Mike Dell's World number 436, and also episode 30 of Napod Pomo 2025. We did it. Well, okay, I did it. But I tell you what, it has inspired me this year. I don't know what it is about this year versus other years of doing the daily podcast, and I have been kind of doing it daily. And what I mean by that is sometimes I record ahead a little bit, but not always. A lot of times it was same day or night before usually, and then I set it to go in the morning. And yeah, that's but I did all 30, and I did them relatively daily. Like I said, I would record a couple of them sometimes ahead a little bit. Like this one, I'm actually recording this on Thanksgiving, so it's a few days ahead of time. But I want to get this out. I've got an announcement. I wanted to get this out, and I've just been really anxious about it. And I'm going to get this queued up so you won't hear it until Sunday. But happy Sunday! Hopefully the snow hasn't been too bad here on Thanksgiving. It's not been too bad, but. Again, it's predicted to be Snowmageddon, but usually when they predict Snowmageddon, it doesn't happen. As they talked about in the blizzard of 78, they weren't really predicting it to be crazy, except for one of the weatherman did, but nobody else expected it to be that bad. But holy crud. Hopefully we don't have anything like that. But anywho, my big announcement. And, some of you might have already heard about it. I've kind of sort of posted it around a little bit. But I'm starting a new daily show tomorrow, December 1st. I'm going to be doing a new show, new feed, new everything, called Cup of Traverse City. Now, that sounds like a weird name, but what this is going to be is a 5-minute or so show that I'm going to do in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee. And who knows what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk for, 4 or 5 minutes and tell you what's going on around here, what's going on in my world, not Mike Dell's world, but the world around Traverse City. Just, a daily snippet. I'm only going to do it Monday through Friday, though. I'm not going to do it on the weekends. And part of that is that I'll probably have topics as I go through the week that I want to expand on, and that's what I'll do here on Mike Dell's World. So in theory, I know I've said this 100 times before, so, it is what it is. But in theory, I'll do a Mike Dell's World episode weekly, sometime along the week, when I have time and the inclination. But I do plan on, most days, do the 5-minute Cup of Traverse City. Now, there'll be times when I'm out of town. I've got some travel on the agenda, and I may or may not publish while I'm on travel. But I will let you guys know ahead of time, those of you that decide to go over and check out Cup of Traverse City. You can get there by going to cupoftraversecity.com, or you can go directly to the source. I think I did mention this on another episode. Oh, well, but this is my big announcement. I am going to do it. I'm committed to it. We're going to do it. You can also go to podcast.show/COTC, Cup of Traverse City. And it's going to be a hyper-local show. It's going to be a show mostly about Traverse City and what's going on here. Probably talk about the weather a fair amount, depending on what's going on in the weather. Sometimes it's boring, but sometimes it's not. So it's going to evolve, what topics I talk about, all that. But it's just going to be a little 5-minute update every day, something of hopefully use, if not anything else, entertaining and kind of Twitter-sized snippets. But I've got it down to, my production down to a science. I mean, literally, it's going to be flip the mic on, talk for 5 minutes, stop it, publish it, be done with it. And, I can get that going, within 10, 15 minutes. And that's going to be the key to the success. If it's hard to do, people don't tend to do stuff that's hard all the time. So this won't be particularly hard for me. Hopefully it won't be particularly hard for you. Actually, I did. Yeah, when I mentioned that, that's right. I do have a couple of test episodes over there. And I do have one there where I talk about how to subscribe, or follow the podcast, and probably, some other ways than just a normal podcast app. It works. Of course, it's going to work on all the podcast apps as well, but there's a couple of apps that might get it there quicker, so you can listen to it in not quite real time. I'm not going to go live, although I do have the capability. I don't think you don't get enough people doing that. Listen live, and you don't want to have to be somewhere at a certain time, but hopefully it'll be published somewhere around 8 a.m. Again, could be a little later, could be a little earlier, if I have to pre-record one, I might record one the night before and it'll go real early. But for the most part, it's going to be same day, around 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, Traverse City time. And go over there and check that out at cupoftraversecity.com. And get signed up. There's links there to Apple and Spotify and Podcast Index and email and Android and all the other places. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom of that page that comes up, you'll see a thing that says Modern Podcast Apps. If you use one of those apps, it's going to update fairly instantly after I publish. Now, technology being what technology is, it might not always work, but anyway, something interesting for those of you around Traverse City or those interested in around Traverse City. This is my attempt at a hyper-local daily podcast. So check it out over at cupoftraversecity.com and or podcast.show/COTC. And I will catch you tomorrow on Cup of Traverse City and probably next weekend on Mike Dell's World. Catch me later.